right, so let's get into the topic today, how to create a stream of leads for your healthcare business. All right, now remember the question box. As I go through this, you can type a question at any time. I'll address those as they come in if they apply to this particular subject. If we get too far off base, I may end up at the very end covering some of those questions. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things we're going to talk about today. Just so you'll have an overview, we're going to talk about how to get free leads. How free leads that some people promise you are dead leads. We're going to talk about how to get warm leads from networking, how to be the expert with educational events, how to let doctors come to you at trade shows, how to become the gatekeeper's best friend, you know, that lady that sits there at the front desk, and last but not least, how to automate your marketing with sales reps. Now, folks, this is just 6 of a dozen or so different ways that we talk about getting clients and leads in our live training workshop here in Dallas. Again, we take a whole day to go through this, so we can't possibly cover it all today, but let me see if I can cover a little bit of it to give you a feel for that. All right, the link isn't there, somebody said. Oh, bummer. Well, that's weird. Okay, now this is the chat box, not the question box, right? And I still see it over here in mine. Let me see if I can paste that in there again. No, that was something else I copied. Okay, well, then I would suggest that you look at that. Hey, can somebody else verify that the link is in the chat box? Somebody who's gone and looked there, would you just tell me a little, in the question box, just type a little, yes, the link is there, so that Cornell can find it there. If it's not there, I will, I think I can probably save that and copy that again maybe in there. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Okay, well, I probably, well, let me tell you why that appeared. This is talking about dead leads, and let me go back one here. Get rid of that. All right. There are some companies out there, folks, who have offered what they call sales leads. In other words, one of their big lead-ons for this is, oh, if you get into this business with us, we're going to give you some leads, some sales leads, some prospect leads. And folks, that's really all it is. It's just an assumption that you're going to go out and call on a doctor that, but you know, you can get these leads anywhere on the internet. I'll show you where to find all the doctors in your area if that's all you're looking for. But that's not what you need. Sometimes they'll promise that they're going to give you appointments. And folks, let me tell you why we tell it's a waste of time. Because we've been out there and we've offered this in the past, and what happens is you get some person on the telephone talking to the office manager, setting up an appointment, and then when we give that appointment to somebody and you go out to that appointment, guess what? They don't know who you are. They don't even remember setting up the appointment. So believe me, do not be misled. This is what they actually say on their website here. I've quoted one of our competitors. Don't waste time prospecting. We supply you with sales leads, names, addresses, types of specialties, including blah, blah, blah. So that is a no-no. It's a dead end, folks, to do that. Again, they're going to give you a list of leads that will basically just be the names and addresses of doctors that are in your area. If they say that they're going to get an appointment for you, believe me, that appointment may or may not hold. 9 times out of 10, they don't remember it. They're not there. The person that you're wanting to talk to is not there. This is not the way to go out and sign up doctors, folks. We've learned in 23 years how to do that right, and I'm going to show you why. So that's just a carrot that some companies are dangling in front of you, promising you leads when those leads don't really mean a thing because they turn out to be dead ends for you. In fact, you know, some of the times we tell people don't go out and just cold call, because some of them have signs on the door, you know, that say no soliciting, you know, no magazines, no politics, no candy, no religion, and no exceptions. So just be careful with that. Okay, let's see. There's a comment here. Here's Christopher. There is a PDF title the same as the webinar. Yeah, that should be okay. You know what? Since nobody's said that they could find that lead, I'm going to try something here. Now, I may need to, let me see if I can get that link in there, because, folks, that was there, I promise, when I started this. So I'm going to find it here and put it in there right now. Okay, there it is right there. Copy the link. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Uh-oh, now I can't get to my chat box. Let me see what else is going on beside this. Okay, cancel that. All right, so let's try it right here. Okay, now somebody go to the chat box, and see if that isn't in there now. It should be a link that goes out and lets you register for the webinar. Okay? All right, let's go back to here, and let's see if it comes up full screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, I didn't mean to do that. Let me pause that again and get back to where we were. We were right here, I think. Yeah, all right. Okay, well, that's why you shouldn't have the CEO do these webinars, because obviously it's technically beyond my comprehension. But I think we're back, right? Okay. Now, I don't see anybody typing anything in the question box giving me a hint that there's a link there to register for next week's webinar. And so somebody go out there and at least just see if it's there and type that in and say, oh, Daniel, thank you. Yes, and Cornell says, yes, there is. Okay, good. All right, it's there now. Thank you, Tiffany. All right, we finally got it. There, William. All right. See, it is live. I told you it was live. All right, now let's talk about one of the reasons that you don't want to just work with a list of leads, folks, or do what we call cold calling on doctors' offices. Because if you walk in a doctor's office just based on a leads list, you're going to be seen as a, quote, salesperson, right? We should have put person there, right? Salesman. No, that's not proper. Not in today's world. It should be salesperson. And you don't want to be seen as that. I made that mistake, folks, back in the early, late 80s, the early days of when my wife and I were starting this. I made the mistake of going out there and calling on doctors' offices, and I dressed up a little bit, you know, had a suit on, and oh, it was sad. They ran when they saw me coming, you know, because I looked like a salesperson. We learned that that doesn't work. That is not the way to do it. But if you learn to approach the doctors using our proven methods of marketing, they will consider you a resource. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that in today's world, marketing has to be what I think of as educational marketing. That is content marketing. You are going to give them some resources, some content, some valuable information. And when you do that, they will open their doors and welcome every time they see you come. So we're going to show you how to do that by email as well as by regular postal mail. Yes, we actually use postal mail in some of our processes. And there's a wonderful ton of resources that we're going to point you to during that live training that will allow you to walk in and seem to be the expert. Yeah, the subject matter expert. We're going to position you that right from the very beginning, even though you may not feel like you know enough to be the expert. We're going to show you how to do that. So basically, it boils down to two things, folks. Here's what marketing to doctors is all about. Connecting with doctors is based on, one, relationships. You've got to build a relationship with that office manager and or the doctors in that office. We're going to show you how to do that step by step. This is why I tell people, look, if you think this is a get-rich-quick, business that you can just get in it and next week you got a doctor and you're making, several $1,000s a month on his billing each month, that's not what this business is all about. This is about building relationships. And so, yes, it takes some of our licensees 30, 60, 90 days, some of them, to get their first client. Why? Because it's a building process. And once you've built that relationship, though, it's a very solid relationship that you have with that doctor's office. You're their friend. You actually become their friend. I interviewed a licensee 2 or 3 weeks ago, Terrence Patterson. You can go back and see it on our website, where I interviewed him, and he said that he became friends with the first doctor that he signed up. This was several years ago when he came through our training. And he's still friends with that doctor, goes out and parties with him on his yacht. Folks, this is a great business to get into, and we're going to show you that we learned after 23 years how to build those relationships. And along with that, of course, we're going to show you how to build trust, because people don't do just business with anybody nowadays. They do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And we have some very specific ways that we're going to show you how to build that trust with that doctor so that they want to turn over their billing to you. Think about it. You're asking a doctor to turn over their money, right? Their cash flow. This is about as important as it gets in a doctor's office. We're going to show you how to do that. in our training. So, number 2 in our list of things we wanted to talk about today is how to get streams of leads from networking. Excuse me. In fact, we call them warm leads. Yeah, warm leads, meaning we're going to show you how to network with other business people, find some power partners as you go out and network with other people, and let them introduce you to their warm market. Maybe it's an insurance agent and he sells insurance to doctors. Well, you don't sell insurance to doctors, right? You want to do their billing. So you both have the same potential client base that you're going after, and you become partners with that person and they introduce you to their warm market. And you'll do the same thing, of course. Once you get clients, you'll be sharing your markets with others as well. So networking is the number 1 marketing method that licensees have reported to us in getting their first client, but a very special way of networking. It's not just doing what you think, just going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting or something like that. We're going to show you how to connect with your warm market in your area in a very unique way. And again, we've taught hundreds of people how to do this from coast to coast, and it works. So we will also show you, of course, how to connect with some of the other organizations in your area. And we go into detail in this in the training. Again, I don't have time to tell you today about each one of these, but just trust me that there are organizations in your area today that can connect you with other business people who want to help you find clients. And once you've built that relationship, you'll get streams of leads from being parts of these organizations in your area. Remember, when you go to a networking event of some kind, you're there to meet people, not sell. We're not trying to go find somebody that's a doctor necessarily that's in a networking organization of some kind. There may be, but that's not what you're after. You're after connecting with other people who know those doctors, or maybe who knows somebody who knows. Sometimes it's a third-party reference, you see. And so this is a very important skill that most people do not know. Even people who've been in other types of businesses that have been told that they should be networking, some people don't like it, they hate it, they don't know how to do it right, and that's because they haven't been taught the right way. Well, folks, my family and I started a networking organization in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This has been several years ago. And we actually had several hundred members of that organization paying us several $100s a year to be a part of it. Why? Because we were teaching people how to do networking the correct way. And so we know the secrets that we're going to pass on to you and that we've passed on to all the people who've come through our training. So again, look, you're looking for power partners who target your same market but who do not compete with you. There's all sorts of people out there that we're going to teach you to connect with. CPAs, don't they do the bookkeeping for doctors? How about attorneys? Don't they handle the legal matters for doctors? Yeah. How about bankers? Don't they loan money to doctors? There's just dozens of power partners that we're going to show you how to connect with. And when you do, they will introduce you to their clients, and it's a mutual agreement that you're sharing leads with them as they share leads with you. It's a wonderful way to build a business, and we're going to show you step by step how to do that. All right, number 3, one of the things we teach is to be the expert. Now, how can you be the expert in an industry that you don't know anything about? We can't teach you everything there is to know in that 1 week's training class down here in Dallas. But when you come to that, we're going to give you enough information to go out and find the resources that position you as the expert. You're going to be the subject matter expert, and that's who people want to do business with. For example, if you were looking to buy a new life insurance policy, you wouldn't just pick anybody, would you, out of the yellow pages? You would try to ask friends that you know for somebody that they know that seems to know what they're talking about. And the guy, if he comes across as being an expert in life insurance, you'll even be more inclined to do business with him, right? We're going to show you that we have the tools that we've developed over the last 23 years to hand to you to allow you to position yourself as that expert. And one of the ways we do that is through educational events. Now, one of them we call a lunch and learn. If you haven't heard that term, it just means that You're going to go and provide lunch to your power partner or to a group of office managers or doctors during their lunch break. Everybody has to take a lunch break. And when they do that, you've got their attention there for, half an hour or so, right? And you can present your products and services and ask all the questions you want about their practice to do what's called a free practice analysis for them. So it's just a way to get your foot in the door. And the way you do that is by presenting to them some very valuable information. We've got all the products, handouts, slides, books, things that you can take to those lunch and learns. So you don't necessarily have to be a public speaker. You can bring it on a laptop, just like this lady here is just sharing with some people around a table what she does. She could turn that around if she had some slides, which we've already developed for you, that goes through and shows them and teaches them some things about a dozen different subjects that we've developed. Part of our ongoing support for you, once you become a licensee, is to have you come to licensee webinars. We do those on Fridays, by the way, not Wednesdays. And on Fridays, our licensees are learning things like, hey, here's a new lunch and learn topic that we've developed. We're going to show you how you should present it, and then we'll put it out there on the licensee website where you can download that PowerPoint for you to use as well. So again, folks, there are a million different ways to market. This one is a proven way. We're going to even show you how to get bigger crowds to these type of things as well, to what we call seminars. Yeah, now don't let this scare you. That guy up front might not be you. That might be your power partner just presenting this for you. It might be somebody that we have, that we work with, that would help do this for you. I'll tell you more about her in just a second here. I think I'm ahead of myself here on the script. But yeah, we're going to teach you how to do these seminars. And again, we have all of the topics already developed for those as well. So here's the lady that I was talking about. You can go look her up on the internet if you want to. Her name is Dr. Vicki Ratner. Now, Dr. Ratner has written a number of books that you'll find out on the internet, and she's been interviewed on CNN, NPR, in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, and I can go on and on. You see some of the logos there on the screen. Now, we have partnered ourselves, talk about power partners, we've partnered with Dr. Vicki Ratner. She teaches other business owners, like financial planners, for example, how to connect with doctors. Now, she's working with our licensees exclusively on teaching them how to connect to doctors to get their medical billing. When she was in practice, she's retired at this point, and a consultant for doctors, she actually outsourced her billing. And she'll tell you the story of that and why in one of the webinars that she does for us. But in any case, she's available to help you with these educational events. That's right. She can actually appear at those events live for a fee, of course, or even virtually. That's right, using GoToWebinar like we're doing right here. For example, imagine what you're seeing on your screen right now, my video and the slides from Dr. Vicki Ratner. She could be anywhere in the world and do this for you, right? And appear as a guest at one of your lunch and learns. So folks, again, we've worked all that out. We're also going to certify you. One of the ways we're going to make you an expert is when you go through our training, we're going to give you this certificate that certifies you as a certified medical revenue manager. Now, folks, we're the only company in the world that is certified through the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. Our licensees are certified as medical revenue managers. In fact, it's the only medical revenue manager certification in America today. And it is a wonderful way to build your credibility as the expert with your doctors. You receive that certificate at the end of the live training workshop here in Dallas. All right, now here's a new topic that some of you may have never thought about. Trade shows. Now, you've been to trade shows before of some kind, right? Maybe it's a home and garden show or an auto or boat show in your area. It doesn't have to be a medical show. We're going to show you how to find these shows and how to set up a booth. We actually have a booth available for you to use. There it is right there. There's one of our licensees using the tabletop booth. And she's got some handouts there, as you can see on the table in front of her. We have a larger one you can see in this picture. If you look back there behind the two people standing, that's another one of our licensees there talking to a doctor at one of these events. Now, why do I say it doesn't have to be a medical event? Because doctors are just human beings, and they go to trade shows of all kinds, not just medical trade shows. They go to home and garden shows. They go to how to start a business show. They trade, again, boat shows and auto shows. We did one here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This has been many years ago, but we were looking for licensees like yourself to start a business. So we had a booth that said medical billing in big bold letters at the top. Well, during that one-day trade show, 5 medical doctors stopped by our booth. Yeah, it was a expo for women, just women services and products for women. And here were 5 doctors who stopped by, saw that medical billing, and said, "Hey, I need to talk to you," and gave us their business card. So it's a wonderful way to just have the doctors come to you. You can obtain lots of leads. You can build credibility by just being there and taking pictures like this and using that in your marketing materials. And of course, you can schedule the practice analysis appointments or set demo appointments. Now, we didn't go into detail today on this webinar about demos, but let me just say this. We show the doctor and their staff the technology that you will be using and that they can use. Remember, I told you it had a scheduler built into it. We're going to show them how they can use the system as well. So we offer these free demos that our technical people, our IT folks, do the demos for your doctor prospects. Doesn't get any better than that, folks. And by the way, in about 70% of the cases, when we do these demos for doctors, they end up doing business with our licensees. Yeah, that's called a closing rate. For those of you who are familiar with sales, we close about 70% of the doctors. So this is a wonderful way that, again, it doesn't cost you anything. It's a part of being an ABS licensee. And of course, you're going to be developing relationships at those trade shows as well. So we'll show you how to find those trade shows, how to get set up for them. We loan you these booths. We don't charge anything for them except for the shipping cost. You can borrow those booths for however long you need it. And it's a wonderful thing. Those booths, by the way, cost about $4,000. So it's a very good, nice tool that you'll have available for us. Now, number 5 in our series there was a very interesting one called Become the Gatekeeper's Best Friend. Now, the gatekeeper is whoever it is in the front office there at a doctor's office, right? That might be the person who opens or closes or keeps the gate closed, right, to the doctor. We're going to show you how to become their best friend, because by befriending that person and providing them with valuable resources that they can give to the doctor, it positions them as the hero or the heroine in that office to the doctor. We have a lot of different ways that we've developed over the years as to befriend those people, including this clever prescription bottle that's filled with candy that looks like jelly beans, but you can put M&Ms in there if you like chocolate. And we have a very special label here. I'll zoom in here so you can see it a little bit better. That basically just says, take 2 by mouth when feeling stressed about your cash flow. So again, it's a clever way to introduce yourself to that person. Cost very little to put this little thing together. We'll show you how to put these together yourself and get all the supplies for them. Print these labels on your own printer. Guys, this is just one of many, many tools that we've developed. I'm letting you take a peek behind the curtains to see that we have put a lot of time and thought into developing these types of things. I mentioned the books earlier. Let me talk about those, because the one you see on the left there, How Physicians Can Get More Patients, is by Dr. Vicki Ratner. Well, guess what? We're going to show you how you can put your name on the front cover. You see down there at the bottom, it's kind of hard to see, I'm sure, on some of your screens, but it says Forward by Sue Smith, CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And so your name would be right there. We've already written the forward. It's just a little generic intro to the book. And you can send these out. This is an ebook here, but you can also print it and hand it out to the doctor. In the middle is a book that I think I had one right here. Yeah, there you go. The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, folks, you can find this on Amazon.com. Just look up The New Thriving Medical Practice. You'll see it sells for $24.95. You, as an ABS licensee, get to buy these books from us at our printing cost. Right, $4. Now you talk about a great marketing tool. This would be good in and of itself if it were just the book as you see it here, but folks, it even gets better. We've figured out a way to put your name on the cover of this book. You see it there at the bottom? Forward by Susan Smith. And not only that, but your name is on the title page on the inside, and your contact information and company name is at the bottom of the forward, again, which we've already pre-written. Now, you can write your own forward if you want to, but we have one pre-written that's pretty generic. I think you'll agree that you could just put your name on there and be fine with it. It's a wonderful marketing tool, folks. It doesn't get any better than this. $4 for a book that you've co-authored with me and a doctor. You see how we've partnered you? You see how we've made you the expert by just connecting you with this book. It's a wonderful tool, folks. Ask the person who sent you the email about coming to this webinar about getting a copy of this book. We can send this to you electronically. Yeah, and you can go ahead and read it and see how valuable it is as a marketing tool. During the training class, by the way, we teach you to mark the book up, to highlight certain passages that will get the doctor's attention, and to use little flags to flag the pages that you've marked. Now, why do we do that? Because when you hand a doctor a book, sometimes it just goes on their desk and they're not going to even open it, right? Well, we decided we're going to get the doctor to at least look at what those flags are all about. So when you hand this book to the doctor, it looks like this, and it's irresistible. The doctors cannot resist going and flipping to the pages where the flags are. It sucks them right into wanting you to do that free practice analysis. And once you've done that, it's a done deal. Because as you'll see when you come through our training, the free practice analysis asks them the questions that you need to come back to your office and put together a practice analysis report. And in that report, you're going to show the doctor how that they are going to be saving thousands of dollars a year probably by outsourcing their billing to you and increasing their revenue, in fact. Yeah. Okay, John says he can't hear you. Somehow the sound is gone. Uh-oh, I don't know what's going on. Can everybody else hear me? Can somebody else tell me that they're actually hearing the sound of my voice? Just go to the question box there and type something. We hear you. William says he hears me. John, sorry, I don't know. Okay, Corey says he hears me fine. All right, thank you. Okay, now let's go on to show you one other way. You might be asking, how in the world am I going to get that book to a doctor? We could just hand it to the gatekeeper and maybe she or he would put it on the doctor's desk. Maybe not. We have figured out how to even get around the gatekeeper if you need to. That's right. Using what are called specialty envelopes, we've developed a method that you will be able to put that on the doctor's desk. That's right. It'll be sealed, but it'll have this book in it. Now, it's a thin enough book to where you put it in an envelope, somebody feeling can tell it's a book, right? But if you mark it private and confidential like we teach you to, if you hand address it to the doctor, you can either mail it or just drop it by and say, hey, would you put this on the doctor's desk? It's a wonderful way, if you're having trouble, getting past the gatekeeper, to get something into the doctor's hands. And with your contact information in that book, folks, we've had licensees. In fact, I interviewed a lady several weeks ago that said, Patrick, I gave out 3 of these books and marked up and flagged, as you told me to, and all 3 of those doctors called me up and said, you know what? I read the highlighted sections and some other parts of your book there, and I think we need that practice analysis. So folks, from a marketing standpoint, I'm a genius. What can I say? Well, not just me, but all my staff. We come up with these ideas, folks, and it's why our licensees are successful. Now, could you start your own medical billing business? Of course you could. You could figure it out on your own. My wife and I did. Of course, it took us about 7 years to really get profitable, but the point is we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't know how to grow like you're going to be able to grow. All right, well, let's move on here. I think I pushed the wrong button. Now we're looking at the book again. Okay, let me go forward. Here we go. Well, the last thing I want to talk about today is something very important, folks, because there are a lot of folks who don't like even the word marketing, and especially the word sales, right? Now, as you've seen already, there's nothing really here to sell to a doctor. You either have something valuable and can bring more money into their practice and save them money over what they're paying their own staff to do the billing now, or you can't, right? When we do the practice analysis and you take the report back, you're going to show them from their own figures that they gave you in black and white how you're going to increase their revenue. So it doesn't cost a thing. So you can't say that you're selling anything. If somebody asks you if you're selling something, you have to say no, unless you're selling money. Unless you're selling $5 bills for $1 a piece. That's about how good this is. So we're going to show you, though, that there are people out there, maybe you don't want to do marketing because you just, it doesn't feel good to you, or you don't have the time, or maybe the money, maybe you're working part-time even, and you need to start your business. We've had many licensees start part-time in this business using sales reps. Now, folks, we've put a lot of time and a lot of money in developing our sales rep system. And this is a very detailed, believe it or not, there are people out there, like these young people here, for example, that love to sell. That's just a fact. You may hate it, and you know, I hate cleaning out sewers, but there's people who are good at that, right? And they may. I wouldn't be a plumber, but there are people who are plumbers who make more than doctors do, right? So here's the point. There are people that are out there that love to sell. We're going to show you how to find those people. Yeah, and you can be anywhere in the United States. We have licensees, again, that I've interviewed. You can listen to those interviews on our website under our blog, and you'll see that some of them have found sales reps in different parts of the country, different states. Since you can do business anywhere in all 50 states in the United States, you can find sales reps anywhere in those states. And those sales reps can do business with you and find you clients, and you will never have to go and visit those doctors. It's a wonderful system that we figured out. Those salespeople, by the way, can be enticed by showing them how they can make a six-figure income, by building up a residual income. That's right. Just like you can build a residual income doing the billing for doctors each month, you can show the sales reps how they can make a percentage of the money that you collect for the doctor every month. Now, some people limit that to the first 12 months after they get a client, some for 2 years. I would give that person a residual income as long as they continue to bring me new clients, wouldn't you? Yeah, so don't stumble over the pennies on your way to the dollars. It's all on a commission basis, so you don't have to put down any money up front. It's only when they bring you a contract that you have to pay them anything. And that comes from the setup fee that they got from the doctor with the agreement. Well, anyway, I'm going into way too much detail here, but folks, it boils down to this. You can have multiple people marketing your business at the same time. So it's not just you. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 people out there finding clients for you. Your biggest problem, I can tell you already, is that once you start getting those sales reps figure out what they're doing and they start bringing agreements to you, you're going to have to hold off. You're going to have to either hire a lot of people real fast or tell those sales reps you can only bring me one client every 3 months because it will grow faster and out of control, faster than you can imagine. So it helps you kickstart your marketing while you set up your business, and you can grow in markets that are outside your immediate area. Sales reps, a wonderful way to grow your business. Oh, I just glanced at my question box and I have a few questions here. Let me get past all the loud and clear. Ronald says, yes, we can hear you, Hannon, and I hear you, okay. All right, how much do the doctors pay for our system? This is from Laura. Laura, this is, the way to think about this is like this. You are going to be charging the doctor a percentage of the money that you collect each month. All right, so let's say you bill $100,000 for the doctor this month, and you charge them 7%. That would be $7,000 that you would bill the doctor for, right? So once you've collected $100,000 for the doctor, you bill the doctor for the $7,000 that you would get for doing the billing. That's how this works. So the doctors are paying for the money that's collected, basically. and that's pretty standard all over the United States. Laura says, is this a commission only or a percentage-based opportunity? It is percentage-based. Let me put it this way. It's commission, but it can be a percentage of the money that's collected for the sales reps. I think you're asking about the sales reps, Laura. I think. Yeah, probably. Okay. Yes, Corey says, does it include the U.S. territories as well? It does, Corey. Yeah. Anywhere that doctors are doing billing on the standard Medicare form called the 1500 form. If you ask any office manager if they do billing on the 1500 form, they'll know what you're talking about. It's a standard form that Medicare came up with that all the insurance companies take as well. All right, let's see. Laura says, who does the actual billing? I don't really understand how the service is structured or what exactly we're offering. Okay, I'm sorry, Laura. You know, I assume way too much when I do these webinars because we do them every week, and so if you've never been on one or seen our website, you might not understand. Here's basically what you're doing. You're telling the doctor that you can do the billing for them. You're using our cloud-based system to actually do the billing. So yes, we're going to teach you how to do medical billing without knowing anything about the codes, by the way. The codes are all built into our system. The doctors give you the codes that go into our system, and if they're using the electronic medical records, they put the codes in right there, and you have them. But here's the point. You're doing the billing for the doctor, which is basically putting it into our system, pushing a button, and it sends it through our clearinghouse, which then sends it on to the payer, the insurance company, or Medicare, and then they pay the doctor. When the doctor gets paid, you're going to see that inside of our system because we're going to show you how to post those payments as they come in. And then at the end of the month, you'll run a report that says, oh, we collected $104,693 for the doctor. And so you'll just bill 7% of that. Now, I'm using the 7% because that's pretty typical. It can be, I've seen as low as 5%. I've seen as high as 9%. So it just depends on the doctor, the volume, and all kinds of things. We help you, by the way. That's a part of our support for you, is to help you know how to price that for any particular doctor. So I hope that answered that question. Let's see, is there any debts where doctors do not pay you? Salim says, you know, I have heard, Salim, from licensees who said that they made the mistake of not doing what we teach you to do. They set the doctor up to where they would just send them an invoice and, you know, tell them to pay from the invoice, and then the invoice wouldn't get paid, and they'd have to call them up, and, you know, it was a kind of a hassle. So what we teach our licensees to do, and what our instructor will teach you during the workshop, is to how to set up what's called an ACH, an automated clearinghouse payment from the doctor's checking account. So here's how it works. You're going to provide to the doctor access to the system where they can go in and see how much you collected for them for the month. Whatever that number is, you're going to bill them 7% of that. But you're not literally billing it. You're going to debit their checking account for that 7%. So you usually give them a week or so, you know, and say within 7 days, we're going to debit your credit card unless you have any, not credit card, your bank account, unless you have questions. I do have licensees, by the way, who put it on a credit card as well. The doctors just want to put it on their credit card. Okay, let's see. How about Puerto Rico? Yes, you can do billing, Ronald, in Puerto Rico with our system. How soon do we get paid by the doctors? Well, Salim, if you do it like I just said, put it on an automated clearinghouse, it's usually within 7 days. But you can also, there are licensees who do invoice doctors, and they just stay on top of that. And if the doctors don't pay, they'll go to the office and stand there and say, here's the bill, I need a check. It doesn't happen often that doctors don't pay because, think about it, you're bringing them more money than they were getting before you started doing the billing for them. They're very grateful for that. And if they don't pay you this month, guess what? You're not going to bill for them next month, right? So you kind of have you know, some control over that. Christina says, with one client, how long does it take to do the claims? Is this an 8-hour shift type? Christina, you can listen to some of the interviews that I've done with licensees where I ask that question, and they all will tell you that it only takes a couple of minutes to do a claim. Well, if a doctor is only doing, let's say he's seeing 100 patients a week, that's 20 patients a day, that's only 20 claims that you do in a day's time. Now, even if you allotted 5 minutes for each of those, what is that, 100 minutes, an hour and a half? Now, there's some other things that you're going to do in your business. It's not like you could just do, all those 20 claims and that's it. You're going to do some posting of payments and so forth. But the point is that to do the actual claims, it can take you as little as about 2 minutes to do a claim. Yeah, I mean, not as little as, I should say as much as, because I've had licensees tell me it takes them 45 seconds. If the patient's already been there and the patient data is already in the system, they just look up the patient and put in a date of the visit and a couple of codes that the doctor gives them for the visit, and boom, the billing's done. So it doesn't take very long at all. Okay, great questions, folks, great questions. Now, let me just say this. In our live training workshop, we're going to go into detail about how to find those sales reps in your community, how to interview those people, how to hire them, how to train them, and how to pay them. That's all included in your training. Believe me, folks, again, after doing this for 23 years, we've figured out how this works and the best way to do it. And speaking of training your sales reps, we have a private website that I'm illustrating here on this slide that our licensees can go to get all kinds of support. There's training videos galore out there, and one section is specifically for training your sales reps. In fact, we have links that you can give to the sales reps that they can go and watch training videos from any device anywhere in the world. They can do it on their cell phone. Yeah, just give them the link, and they can go watch that without having to log in to your website here. So again, it's a complete system, folks, and all of these things, even though I've gone very quickly through all 6 of these, we go into detail. We're spending an hour to an hour and a half on each one of these topics, and then there's another 5 or 6 that we cover as well. I'm just, again, in these 1-hour webinars, I can just barely get in the time that I need to cover this and answer some of your questions. So here's what we've covered today, folks. Free leads. If somebody's offering you free leads, run as fast as you can. Those are dead leads. We're going to teach you how to get warm leads for your networking, how to be the expert with educational events, how to let doctors come to you at the trade shows and talk to you, and how to become the gatekeeper's best friend to get your information into the hands of the doctor, and how to automate your marketing with sales reps. So I hope that's been helpful to some of you today if you're considering getting into our business. I will say this, we're the only medical training company that offers a 100% money-back guarantee. And here's the actual wording from our agreement. Ask for the agreement if you haven't seen it already from your business coach, the person who sent you the email to come to this webinar. And it says, if at the end of the training workshop, for any reason, you do not think this business is right for you, simply tell any staff member, and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. Now, how can we do that, folks? How can we do that? It's because we have what we know we have, and people don't ask for that refund. Could they come and sit through the whole week and still ask for a refund just because they wanted the information? Of course they could. But once people see what we have and the value, I think you'll see that our license is worth a lot more than the $25,990 that we charge for it. But we have given the money back to people. I can literally count on one hand the number of times we've done that in 23 years. So that should tell you a lot about what we have.